Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Sim Standard Podcast. Happy to be with you guys, man. And on the recommendation of you guys, particularly DJ81, what we want to start doing is having, a guest host. I don't even really want to call you a guest because most of you guys come through and watch the show anyway. So we'll just say an additional panelist, if you will. We do have DJ with us tonight. And we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. And sorry for the delay. I know we're a tad bit late, had some technical difficulties, but you guys understand how that is. So basically, man, what we're gonna definitely do tonight is talk about several things. You guys are kind of seeing it. I'm sure you're seeing it here in the description, but I'll let you know exactly what we're gonna talk about, and then we'll get started with the crazy free agency stuff, man. So we'll definitely talk about that. I know DJ voiced his opinion on the Redskins with a recent firing. Kind of crazy. I didn't see that coming, but yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But basically, guys, what we're going to try to cover tonight is MLB The Show 17 franchise details. We'll definitely let Smitty kick that off because I know that's a big point that he wanted to talk about. We'll talk about NBA 2K, the 2-for-1 possibilities in terms of combining certain components of the game. I'll definitely let DJ take the lead on that. He gave us that topic. And then we'll definitely talk about Madden defensive camera. I guess I'll take the lead on that one to kick it off. It's been a lot of discussion about that camera within our Sim Standard League. And is it Sim? Is it not? Some guys have just been going at it about it. And to me, I think it's a little ridiculous what it came to over just a camera. But we'll tell you a little more about that, and we'll give our opinions on that. And then definitely want to talk about, if we get to it, man, I want to talk about the Knicks playing the first half against the Warriors. I don't know if all of you guys saw this, but, apparently they didn't have any music or any, ads or videos or anything playing. We're going to talk about what we feel about that. Was that some type of strategy or was it nonsense? I know Draymond Green has some things to say about it. So we'll talk about that as well. So that's what we got for you guys, man. Of course, whatever you guys are giving us in the topics, spare a moment, we'll talk about that as well. So y'all know how we do. So first and foremost, man, I just want to go around and see how everyone's doing tonight. I'll throw it to Smitty. How was your week, man? And anything you have to say in regards to free agency, I guess we can go ahead and work that topic in right away.
Yeah. Well, getting into it here, like looking at the Detroit Lions, looking at what they're doing as far as the offseason is concerned, definitely got to give it to them. I mean, they definitely putting in some work, man. I mean, look, they let go of DeAndre Levy, which is not really a surprise to me. They tenured a few guys. They let go of Riley Reeves, so they're definitely trying to beef up that offensive line as well as establish a defensive presence as well. So I mean, like they definitely are. They're definitely making some moves. Like they let me see, who else is it that they have? I'm trying to make sure here because I know they made a few moves. I know they had picked up an offensive. They picked up an offensive lineman as well, but I can't think of this. I can't think of who it was specifically. I think they picked up a tackle, and they went ahead and let go of, like I said, Riley Reef he's basically supposed to be signing with the Vikings. So I mean, hey, like I know that the Lions are trying to make that room because they supposedly are supposed to be going after Dante Hightower. So they're supposedly going to be doing that. Don't know for certain, but we're going to take a look and see what them cats do, man. But, I mean, I'm proud. Like, I like the moves that Quinn is making so far. I definitely am feeling it. Everything that he's been doing. But, gotta wait and see. Gotta see what these dudes do overall or what they're able to do outside of the draft, because the main thing that Bob Quinn said was that they're looking for playmakers. We got guys that are adequate, but we need guys that can finish plays, that can actually do some damage. So we're going to see what they end up doing. So just got to wait and see. But I like the moves that they made so far. So we'll just see how things pan out.
Yeah, man. Can't be mad at that. I can't wait to talk about Steelers stuff because this is the reason why I even wore the shirt tonight because I'm gonna put Steelers fans on blast. I like doing that because some people claim to be Steelers fans. Y'all know. I'm sure y'all deal with it with the Redskins fans and the Lions fans. They claim to be fans, but they never seem to understand how their team works. So I'm gonna put some of those folks on blast tonight. But DJ, man, how was your week? I already know you got something to say about the Redskins and what's happening in free agency.
Man, I know the week has been okay leading up until today. Now, a lot of things tend to happen to a team, and I've experienced this for the last 20 years with the Washington Redskins, at least since Daniel Snyder bought the team. But yeah, today Scott McCloughan fired immediately for whatever reasons. I think they talked about that maybe he relapsed into drinking, and they don't think it's true, but that place could drive you to drink. I know that for sure. Wise, not some big losses. We lost Pierre Garçon to San Francisco. We lost Deshaun Jackson and Chris Baker to Tampa Bay. So that was huge. Re-signed Vernon Davis, Chris Thompson, retendered, and Will Compton, who's our middle linebacker, which I wish we were upgrading that position because he just seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time versus the previous year in the right place at the right time. That's why we got rid of Keenan Robinson, who is right now. And we picked up DJ Swearinger. I thought this would have been a good pick up maybe like a couple of years ago. We actually had a chance to draft him, but we got picked up Stacey McGee and Terrell McClain from Dallas. Kirk Cousins. What is going on? All we know is that he's probably asking for a trade. He wants to go to San Francisco. Let him go. The circus is back in DC, baby. So that's pretty much it as far as what I can see. Oh, and also funny that just to go to the Houston, actually funny that they just traded Brock Osweiler to the Browns.
Yeah.
Looking to try to deal him off.
Yeah.
Bree wasn't an unwanted quarterback before, and it's a shame, but agency period, telling you.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I was guilty of saying that the Browns were dumb. When I initially saw it, then I said, wait a minute. As more reports came out, and then, of course, now there's reports already saying that they're looking to shop him around. I'm like, I even saw a report saying that they're willing to eat some of his salary just to get rid of him. So it's very clever how because the Browns had, I tweeted yesterday, the Browns had like $100 million, or I might have tweeted that today, $100 million or something like that in cap space. So they got money to play with. So they've acquired all of these picks. I got to take my hat off to those guys. They're doing some things. I know I'm a Steelers fan, man, but I'm a football fan too. So I like to see teams do the right thing and, compete. I just hope at some point what the Browns are doing will turn into a decent team because they've had talent over the years, and now they got all of these picks. They got a good coach, and most people would say Hugh Jackson, give him some time to build. We'll see, but smart move on the part of the Browns today. And also, my God, the New England Patriots. Man, the New England always flies under the radar and they just always seem to do some stuff, man, that's crazy. And I even hear that they might be possibly shopping Malcolm Butler for Brandon Cooks from the Saints. Of course, they signed Gilmore from the Bills. Logan Ryan, it's interesting that I say his name because that's one of the guys that was reported that the Steelers contacted his agent as well as Dre Kirkpatrick. Kirkpatrick, we already know, has re-signed with the Bengals. You see the kind of money they gave him. That will explain to you why Steelers don't have him. Now, let me get into that, guys, and then we can jump into our topics. Steelers fans, listen up and listen clearly. You claim to be Steelers fans, and I'm going to pick on some of you guys right now, and I'm sure some people that I know might see this. And I might be talking about you too. Why is it every single year when free agents are in the market or it's leading up to free agency, why do you always make these ridiculous claims about who the Steelers need to go get? For as long as I have been a Steelers fan, for numerous years, I mean, even before I remember, I even knew what free agency was. I mean, as a kid, I've been told even during those times, they don't spend big money on free agents. They don't do that. The Steelers build through the draft and they sign their own. That's what they do. Plain and simple. So why was I getting so many tweets today or just seeing tweets about people saying, man, the Steelers ain't making no moves. They ain't going to do nothing for that secondary and da-da-da-da-da. This is before 4 o'clock, mind you. This is before it even started. Soon as 4 o'clock hit, I'll say, give it an hour. Around 5 o'clock, I'm seeing people sending me DMs. Man, I told you they don't care. And I'm like, dude, if you were a real Steelers fan, you already know they're not spending no money. Not like that. Look at last year. I mean, even if you don't have long-term memory, let's use short-term memory. Look at the Weddle situation. How much did the Ravens pay him? Now, some people would think, it wasn't too much, but the Steelers wouldn't even bite on that. And everybody knows they was going after Weddle. It's not going to happen, folks. If we get a free agent, it'll be somebody who's in the price range. Logan Ryan, possibly. I don't know what his market is, but if you look at Kirkpatrick and you look at Gilmore, a couple guys like that, Bouye, if I'm saying his name, or Boye, I think is how you say it, from Houston, looking at what they're getting, Ryan is probably going to fall a little under that, but it could still be out of the Steelers' price range. We don't know, unless they're talking short-term deal. I would love to have him, but hey, it is what it is. And also, I wanted to talk about the Brandon Marshall thing. My Lord. How many people, Smitty, DJ, kept telling me, we should go get him. We should go get him. I'm like, okay, really? It's not a point of whether we should get him. Did y'all really think the Steelers were going to make a play at Brandon Marshall? Like, the receiver is the biggest area of need for the Steelers, I'm guessing. That's what they're saying. Really? It just baffles me, man, how people claim to know their teams and listen, I know everybody's not as involved in it as some of us, but I feel like if you are a fan of a team, you start learning their personality, so you kind of know what to expect. That's all I'm saying. The Mike Mitchell signing, when we signed him, made sense. He didn't cost that much. But Darius Green was probably one of the more pricey, but over a 4-year span, it didn't cost that much. Those are the type of guys the Steelers are going to go after. They ain't going after these big names. Now, there's still some people out there, so we'll see. But all I'm saying is pump your brakes. Stop getting false hope for no reason. It ain't going to happen. The Rooneys don't work like that. And if you are a real fan, you would know that. So I just felt like I needed to say that, guys, man. But that's all I got to say. Other than that, yeah, like, again, I'll say it. I think the Patriots have done. Oh, wait a minute. We're forgetting Jacksonville. Jacksonville is off and running. And that's another team. Now, no, I can't put as much, I can't dump as much negativity on them as I would the Browns as far as not being good for several years, because I know they're kind of still in that rebuilding stage as well. But, all right, Jaguars. All of this talent, I mean, this is like the second or third time y'all have done this, where on paper y'all looking legit. I need to start seeing them do something. And shout outs to NY Kid, because he pointed this out earlier. His Blake Bortles is do or die time for him, man. If he ain't getting it done like consistently this year with all the help they got coming in, I don't know what to tell you, brother. Don't know what to tell. Oh, one last thing before I throw it to you guys to start off the topics. Landry Jones. I knew it was going to happen, man. I knew it. Remember I said early in the year that he better not be back. Y'all remember I was on that train? That he better not be back. But as I started thinking about it, I said, wait a minute. Who is our number 2 or 3? Really? Zach Mettenberger, who, not knocking him, but does he know the system? Probably not. Not really. Probably learned it by now. Ben Roethlisberger. Is he coming back? We don't know. I assume he is, but we don't know. Because honestly, you know what Ben Roethlisberger is to me, fellas? I love him. Love him dearly. But here's the 2 knocks on Ben that I have on him at this stage of his career. Ben's starting to throw a lot of interceptions. He's like a Brett Favre. When he's winging it and doing what he's doing and it works, we all like hooray. But every now and then he'll throw a forced pick, and his pick numbers have climbed over the last 2 seasons. Now, I ain't going to hold that against him. It happens because he makes enough big plays for us to still be in the AFC Championship. So I'm not tripping on that. I'm just saying you got to look at that. But here's the other thing. He's starting to be a little bit of a Tony Romo. He's hurt every season, which means we have to have a valuable backup. A lot of you guys don't agree with Landry Jones. And listen, you got to look at it like this. Let's say Ben don't come back, because let's not kid ourselves. It's year 14. He could very well retire. But even if he comes back, we need 2 quarterbacks. I don't think Mettenberger is the answer, but even if he is, we need somebody to challenge him. It ain't going to be Landry Jones. And I still think the Steelers will draft a quarterback this year, late draft pick. But I'll say all that to say this. I understand why they signed him. I did say on Terrible Tale Tuesday, if you can get Landry for 2 years for under $5 million, why not? And they got him for 2 years, 4.4. 600,000 signing bonus. That peanuts. More than any of us got. But in this grand scheme of things, that's peanuts. So I ain't too mad at that. But I don't know. Not happy, not mad, understand it, if that makes sense. But all right, man, let me get up off of that, man. Let's go ahead and jump into these topics. Let's see which one we want to hit first. Smitty, I'll throw it to you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
MLB The Show. I figured that would be perfect.
Let's do it. Smitty, take it away, man. Let's talk about this game and the reason why you're so excited about franchise mode, man.
Well, I was excited about it because, like, the main thing is that I wanted to see what information that they had available based off of the live stream and everything, because I know they were going to dive more into the details there. But from the video and then from the blog, the cool thing was that, you had the video the other day, and then they did a blog posting with a little bit more detail. But the thing that I really like is for those that saw the stream today, if you saw the stream and from what they put out on the stream there, man, the biggest takeaways for me is, number one, the quick game management, because that is like, I got out of the park baseball 17. Okay. So I dabble in it a little bit here and there when I play, and it's a real quick, you could play games real quick. You could set things up and let the game run on its own, and you can step in where you want and do your micromanagement that way, even though it is a Texas Sim kind of game. But the cool thing about it is that when, you're bringing that kind of element into the game, and then you could jump in at any point and jump right back out. So if you want to do certain at-bats with certain players, let's say, like, okay, I'm running with the Tigers, and I want to do every at-bat that Miggy is up, right? I can do all the sims until he comes around and bats. And then I could go ahead and, just play his at-bat and then continue and let it flow. So I could run those games pretty quick. And what's even cooler as well is that you can even do player lock, like Road to the Show, in the franchise mode, and you're only going to play those opportunities when he's out there on the field. So it's like you're getting the combination of all those different worlds in one fell swoop. So you can play you're playing the franchise mode, but you could play from all these different perspectives. You could play it real quick. You could take your time with it, or you can take, you know, a moderate approach by playing the road to the show kind of way and have player lock on the position that you want. So, that's the one thing. But the second thing that I really like is the player quirks. And see, this is like the stuff that's in NBA 2K, the stuff that we've seen when we talk about football that's in APF, and even in Madden 08 with the weapon system. It's the same kind of premise that you have within this system where you're talking about, like I was talking about with DJ before we got on the show. The thing that's cool about it is that you have some of these traits that trade off with each other. Like they had shown, for example, in the stream, they had shown a batter where he excels on the road games. He has a badge where he excels on the road games, but then also he's a better batter at night, and he likes pressure situations, meaning when he's down in the count with at least 2 strikes. Now, the cool thing they pointed out was that his batting zone increases. I think what they called it was the PCI or whatever. The PCI is like, like their plate cursor indicator, whatever it is. I don't know what it actually stands for, but that batting cursor that they have, it's like they shown a picture of it where it was in the middle of the day. It's in the middle of the day, so it's in a day game, but he only has 1 strike against him. Even though the game is on the road, his strike zone, his batting zone shrunk because he's got 2 negatives and only 1 positive because he's on the road. He's not down 2 strikes, and it's in the middle of the day. Okay, now, but they shown in comparison when it's at night. It's a night game. It's a night game. He's got 2 strikes against him already, and he's still up there at bat. His batting zone increased exponentially. See what I'm saying? So it's like that's the cool thing about the way the system works, because it's a plus minus kind of deal. You have some good things about it, and you have some negative things about it. You know what I'm saying? Like for the positive parts about those player quirks, you have negatives that you can get hit with as well, based upon the situation, like time of day, what game it is, who it is you're playing against, whatever, based on the quirks. So I don't know all the quirks. I don't have a list of them in front of me or anything like that, but those were the main standout things that I liked in that regard. And like my man D-Mob said, this is like connected careers in Madden 13. And to a degree it is, but not exactly, because the thing in the show is that I can be in the exact same game though, and I can do all these things. See what I'm saying? Like I can literally be in one game and say, okay, I want a player lock on this guy. You know what? No, I want to quick manage it. And then I just want to play these particular at-bats. I can do all that in one game if I want to in the franchise. You can't do that in Madden. Madden is like, I'm gonna play this one player, and that's it. That's all you could do for his whole career. Here it's like I'm the team man, like I'm managing the finances and all that good stuff. But what's cool is that I can delegate all that stuff out. And that's the main thing they talk about. See, and this is why we talk about having options. They give you all these options in one product. The way you bat, the way you pitch, you got all these control options that are in there, but then you got all these options in franchise. If you want to play, get your out of the park baseball on, and then you just want to take control late in the game based upon the situation, yeah, let me go ahead and jump in. Okay, choose an option, jump in and play it. And then you could jump right back out if you feel like it. You see what I mean? So it's like you have all these in-depth options that you could just switch on, switch off, jump in, jump out as you please. And that's the kind of stuff that we need in the game. Now, you could kind of do that with Madden 17 right now in terms of the sim option, but it's only, the super sim. And that's essentially it. You know what I mean? So it's like
the big moments and stuff.
Yeah, like you can play the moments and such. So you kind of have that in it. But it's cool. It's cool what it is that they got going on in this game here. So that's what's up, man. But now, that's why I'm really excited for it. Because me not being the huge baseball, know-it-all or knowledgeable guy, like this will help me with getting more knowledge in terms of playing the game. But at the same time, just being able to just swan dive into it and have fun out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And I can play the stuff that I'm more acclimated to, and then I can warm up to the whole management side of things and making trades and signing players, etc. So I look forward to that. Even Diamond Dynasty, because I'm gonna get into that too. I'm gonna try that out and see how it works, because I never messed with it before. So it's a lot of new stuff in it that I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on when it comes out. So but I'll throw it back to you, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Before I throw it to DJ, just to say, and you kind of hit it. It's like we said last week, all of these games allow games to feed off of each other. That's all. I ain't gonna say it came directly from there, but that is a lot like they play the moment and stuff like that. But now it's like times two. They take it to another level. They allow you to do all of this managing or jump in or jump out or do tech sim. Like, see, that's what I'm talking about. And the idea for me would be the next game, take it to another level. So that's why you need all these games to be doing great things. But without further ado, DJ, man, what you got on MLB The Show?
Well, first, let me apologize. I know I was going in with the internet, so I got to talk to my company. But anyway, unfortunately, I didn't catch a lot of what Smitty was saying, but towards the end, I pretty much like the fact that with integrating the casual users, I haven't played a full season of MLB The Show for quite some time. I'm not saying I'm a casual, but it's one of those things where you want people to be able to play the game. So one thing I had pointed out that caught my eye was the fact that once you jump into the franchise mode, is the fact that it'll allow you to set everything to auto or manual. It even sets a difficulty level, not a difficulty level, but difficulty rating. They call it a level of complexity through 1 or 3 stars. And they have it where it's like the coaching aspect is 1 star, the player management is 2 stars, and the general management functions are like 3 stars, meaning that's the hardest. And then as you're playing through your franchise mode, you get comfortable through each of these aspects. You can manually go in each box through the home screen, and you can actually change these from manual to auto as you go along. So I think incorporating the casual players or first-time players, they even said that even veterans were intimidated by the mode because of not knowing what to do and taking care of so much. So I think MLB The Show 17 is doing a good job. I believe a better job in incorporating casuals into the game versus probably any other sports games out there. That was mainly the biggest thing. So overall, it just seems like MLB The Show 17 is more user-friendly. That's what I got from it. Other than that, I'm a lifelong, well, not lifelong, but I've played baseball in the past, so a lot of the little things, gameplay-wise, which was previously discussed in a different show, I could appreciate. So that was the biggest thing to me.
Yeah, for me, man, to not be honest, I gotta look at the latest stream so I can, be up on, because I didn't even know about the player quirks thing that Smitty was talking about. Then I saw, I was looking at Operation Sports, and I saw that was one of their bullet points. Another thing I noticed, let me look at it here, which is funny, like I said, just competition. One of their bullet points was new ways to play.
Yeah,
exactly. That's Madden's terminology. So you got to have that, man. That's why we push for all of these games. I mean, even just here on the panel, I always tell Smitty is, and DJ is probably pretty close to Smitty as well with these dudes play games, man. Like Smitty has introduced me or reminded me of games that I forgot about to just try. Like, and DJ is the one who really got me to start looking at NHL. So we play all of these games and try to get them on an even playing field, so to speak, because it only helps us all. But to me, MLB The Show, man, is almost like it's too good for me not to get it. I mean, I've said in the past, baseball is kind of slow on a video game, but with all of this stuff, man, I'm sure I can find something to do, like being able to breeze through the franchise. Or, of course, I think I'm going to definitely do Road to the Show and try to stick with that. But the game is just, it just shows you what you can do when you get your gameplay down pat. I mean, it's like they add little things here, little things there, but that's where they are. I mean, they don't really have much left to do. Like, you know, a good testament to that is you have people saying, man, I'm still on 15. I'm still on 14. And they're not missing anything because the game has been that good. But to me, too, man, it's just the depth. Like, the depth of the mode is what I marvel at. The same way I feel about my league. And I'm going to continue to do that and feel that way about these other franchise modes until we can get Madden's franchise to just be on that level. You know, it's all about the off-field immersion. And I think the show is clearly defining what that means to have immersion outside of the diamond that affects what happens in the diamond. You know what I mean? So wonderful stuff, man. And I think I will actually be getting it. I have to. And if I don't play it, maybe I sell it to somebody. I don't know. But I feel like I have to at least play it, do more than a red box. I might red box it, but I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and get it because I think I'm going to spend some time with it. But yeah, it's crazy, man. Do you have anything else on this, Smitty?
Yeah, I'm copping the full-blown 10 case with the baseball hat edition of it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, real talk, like you just said about how you got people that play the, you know, MLB The Show 14 and stuff like that. That's how I look at it. Like, I'm more than likely I won't be getting 18 or I won't be getting 19. It may not be till 20. You know what I mean? That I would get the next game. So I'm going to take this and just fully dive into it. And just have fun with it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's been so long since because I mean, I bought the show 15, but I barely even touched that game. Like, I barely even touched it at all. And to see all these options that they have in there, this is the game that I could see myself playing like multiple seasons through because of that quick manage feature. Like, that's going to be huge for me because I'm not the type of guy that sits there and I'm going to play game. Like, I'm not going to play those full games like that. So, and see, you know, the other thing too, though, Sim, is that you have people that will look at the show, want to get involved into the show, you know, want to get into it, but it's like, man, them games take way too long. See, that's why seeing these guys develop these tools and these aspects and be like, hey, guess what? You can jump in, jump out as you please. Now, to a casual guy, like myself, I ain't no diehard guy like that, but a casual guy, that would be something like, yo, I like that. Bet, let me go ahead and cop it. Because they may not get out of the park baseball because it's just text to sim and you're not able to play anything. Here, it's like you get some of that out of the park baseball element, but you can jump in and play stuff as you feel.
Right.
So that's going to go a mighty long way. Mighty long way. Oh, one other thing too. This is a different game going off the grid though. I don't know if any of you guys saw that video about that. What's the name of the game? It's the Shadows of War. That Middle Earth Shadows of War. The sequel to that Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor game based off the Lord of the Rings game. They got a sequel. If you saw the video that they did on it, it was like a 16-minute video they did on it. That Nemesis system that they have in there that was done in the first game, how they elaborated on it for this game, nuts. That game will be a day one purchase. It comes out in August, like near the end of August, but that game will be a day one purchase for me. The game is bananas. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out though, because it's retarded.
See, what I tell y'all? I ain't never heard of that game.
Absolutely retarded, man. I'm telling you. So
Smitty put me on, man.
So I'll ping it in the little chat section here. But yeah, I just wanted to just say that real quick. Some people may have saw it, so just wanted to throw that out there. But all right, go ahead, Sim, man. You got it though, man.
Nah, man, I ain't got much more on franchise. Anything else you wanted to add, DJ?
Nah, other than the fact that I'm still struggling with the internet over here. It seems like it keeps dropping out every other second. I'm telling you, I've been trying to lower the bandwidth that I'm using, and it's just like I'm afraid that I'm gonna miss, like with Smitty with MLB The Show. I missed a whole lot of what you said, and then on top of that, it's just trying to hopefully that that it doesn't drop when we segue into another segment. So I'm just crossing my fingers here.
I mean, it's all good. It happens, man. It happens to everybody. That's how they keep us under control, I guess, with the internet. They be playing with us, man. I hear in other countries, man, like they, just to drop a quick nugget. I've known people that's been all over the world, either they're in the military or what have you. But I knew a guy that was in Sweden, and he was telling me that there is no limit to their internet. Everybody has the same speed. It was like over here, it's always, and not saying that the speed has anything to do with what's happening tonight. I'm just saying it's funny how these internet companies, you got to pay this amount for this speed, or like with Comcast, you got to pay an extra amount for blast or for business. And I'm like, why can't everybody just be hooked up to the internet and then have unlimited speed and unlimited connectivity? I think they be doing crazy stuff on purpose, man, because sometimes your net just goes down for no reason. It's happened to me plenty of times. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and segue into the next topic. Definitely while we have you here, let's go ahead and talk about your idea, man, with NBA 2K. I know what you had mentioned to us was a little bit about, if they'd be able to incorporate, having more of the college aspect and, having like a high customization tool and things like that. But yeah, man, go ahead and tell us what you had in mind and as far as NBA 2K's future. Hello.
Ooh.
Smitty, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, there goes Smitty.
Okay. He dropped out. Okay.
Might have dropped out. That's all right. We can keep it rolling until he gets back.
Yeah.
Let's go in about that. Oh, go ahead. What you have?
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, okay, about the 2K and the college joint, because people are modding the joint. Oh, there you go, DJ. You back in?
Oh yeah, hopefully. But I want to actually try something that I need to do, because I think what's going on is that I have my PS4 on rest mode, and since I have my new hard drive, I got the 4 terabyte joint for the update. It's been downloading the updates in the other games, so I think that's what's been going on. That's
cool.
why I've been dropping in and out. So I'm about to turn that. But go ahead, Smitty.
All right. Okay. Now I was just gonna from the point that DJ was talking about with the 2K and the college game aspect. The thing about that is when you play the game the way it is right now with the mods and everything that people have made, because I downloaded it on purpose. I downloaded it, and I haven't shown it or whatever, but I downloaded the roster and added the jerseys people made and all that good stuff, man. And it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just got the 2K overlay, but you got the courts, you got the jerseys, people made the players and all that stuff. So you got Lonzo, you got UCLA and Lonzo Ball and all them cats in there. So it's cool. But it is a way of getting people into the whole, getting people into the groove of playing college without having to buy that DLC that they put in there, like that's got all the old school players and everything, and they put them all in one package. You can bypass all that. Download this joint off. It's on Operation Sports. People got it shared and everything there, but download that joint and play that. Like, dude, Dougie, Good Game Brothers, he did a tutorial video for those that are on Xbox One. He did that like a while back, but yeah, it's a way to get that college experience and have that collegiate atmosphere, excuse me, and that immersion without having to pay, you know. And I mean, the community once again came through in a major way with that, you know, with that update. Because I think that's a big undertaking to do all that. You know what I'm saying? All that editing and ratings and all that good stuff. That's, you know, I think that's a lot of work, but it's a good work though. It's a good work though. And, you know, it's, it is a way for you to play the game. Like, you can play the college, do a franchise off of it, control the teams, and play that way. And then you got on the flip side, you have what's the name of the you can play your NBA 2K as far as, you know, play with the NBA teams. You can still do your my GMs and my leagues and all that stuff. They're just separate save files. That's essentially all you're doing. So I like I said, I like what it is that they're, you know, bringing that element to the table there and having that college atmosphere for a minute, and then flip it over to the opposite side and play the pro game. Yep. So I'll throw it to y'all, man.
Yeah, man. Just waiting for DJ to pop back in. I think it could possibly happen, man. And the reason why is because, I mean, we all know about the NCAA situation. We all know that. But seeing as how, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second year that 2K has been able to incorporate some college, you know, names and logos, et cetera, within the game. You know, and it's through my career. It's short and brief. But the fact that it's there gives me reason to feel a little optimistic. And I think that's what DJ's point was, because, you know, when he posed the topic to Smitty and I, he basically said, you know, is 2K in a position to where it could possibly happen, like a 2-1 game. Now, hopefully, you know, he'll be able to come back. I definitely want to hear his initial thought. But what I take from that, I think what he's saying, 2-for-1 would be like you don't make NCAA or college hoops, but it's basically you could play college hoops in NBA 2K. That's what I get from it. So it wouldn't be a separate product, but it would be an official college hoops or some type of college basketball game within 2K. So it'll almost be like, I know this is going off the track a little bit, but it will almost be like what some of us say about MUT. Maybe MUT should be like a separate component. You know, so it would kind of be something like that. It would be its own game, but it lives in NBA 2K. And I think they might be in position to do that, because if you notice in 2K17, there were a couple different colleges than there was in the first year. However, it makes you wonder, why did some of the colleges that were featured in 16, why were they not featured in 17? So we don't know all of that. But if I had to answer that question, are they in position? I think possibly. And I think that would be the way to promote it. You know, maybe it's then when I say promote, I mean like present it to whoever has to make the decision, whether that's NCAA or whoever else. You present it to them like that, because that's a way, and just trying to think about business, even internally, that you can kind of keep the cost down a little bit, where you don't necessarily have to take the risk of marketing a separate game. But if you build it into this product that we have that's selling what they at 6-7 million per year for the last couple of years, might work, would be great. But like I said, the fact that they showed us college Makes me think it could happen. So we'll see. But definitely we got DJ back, man, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. What can happen? What will happen? What do we think will happen? And like you said, are they in position to make it happen?
Well, I believe they are in position to make it happen. Like you said, they don't have to really, put forth any more effort other than just to give us the tools necessary to adapt the game to the college rules. I think that obviously, and this was probably already mentioned while I was out, the fact that you have the jerseys, you have the courts, even a little bit of the atmosphere, but it's like you're taking my league and you're basically making it NCAA 2K17, possibly 2K18. But it's just like, give us the rules that accompany with it. Just like a couple of people in the football community that are making games that look like they're going to have a 2-on-1. Like now I'm just hearing that the Canadian football game is able to adapt to American rules. That was actually a news flash to me. Wow. I wasn't expecting that at all, but they actually have it programmed. I don't know if they're going to, their main focus was to make a Canadian football game, but they do have a secondary, and I don't know if you'll be able to do it right off the bat, but they're doing a 2-for-1. Kyle Anderson's doing 3-for-1. I don't know when that's going to happen, but going back to 2K being set up for 2-for-1, especially with the little things that happen in my league, like the rule changes. You mean to tell me you can't take one of those things and say, hey, we can bring it? Because remember, in real life, the NBA did push in the 3-point line, because you remember you had Alonzo Mourning taking game-winning threes from a shorter distance 3-point line. You mean to tell me that in my league you can't just make it so that, okay, well, now we're going to have a 5-second closely guarded rule, or we're going to have we're going to limit the quarters, we're going to turn them into halves, so there's like 20-minute halves, or there's another like little college rule. Wait a minute, there's no 3 seconds when you're playing defense, so like zone defense is king pretty much during the college. So I believe they can take the next step. I believe they don't have to worry about licensing the rules or anything. They can already have that in there. The customization feature will take care of the uniforms, the courts, probably give us a default atmosphere of a college atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And people will just run with it. I think that's what people have been asking for all of these games, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I'm like, you look at NHL, they have, it seems like they've taken their customization features and upped it a little bit to go with their EA hockey league. So, people are taking advantage of those tools. And 2K is just, I think 2K is just, they're right there. They're right there. They just have to give us, they have to be willing to go that extra step to put that in. Other than that, they're right there. They can do it.
Yeah, I think some of the red tape may have been cut, man. I mean, we're just three guys, man, that's just trying to use our minds with whatever little minds we have. But it's to me, it's already there. It's already there to some degree. And it's like DJ just said, now you just take it to the next level. Take it another step. Because like I said, you've kicked the door down slightly. Even if it starts with just the teams that you have now, like maybe you expand that more to where you could actually play some type of league with those teams. It was something. But I think the opportunity is there. And, again, if I was the one presenting it, not saying I have the best idea, this is how I would approach it. If we got to convince somebody, I would go with the aspect of, look, if we keep it inside the game and we give our fans the tools, because let's not forget, They already see what fans can do with my part and all of that. My court. You already see what the fans can do. Utilize that. So if you give your consumers the tools and let them build everything, and like you said, adjust the rules, then you can kind of see what kind of audience you have. And then if someone is hesitant by allowing a full-fledged like NCAA product to live in the game, then maybe that would help the cause. I don't know. It just seems like that seems like it's very doable. I don't know for sure, but I wanted to comment real quick, DJ, on the Canadian football thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anybody to take this like it's not shots or nothing like that, because guys, we play multiple games, as you heard tonight. But they need something, man, DJ and Smitty. They definitely need something else to entice people, because looking at it, and again, I understand it's year one product. We get all of that, but I think it's getting to a point. I don't know. Maybe we're a little more mature now than your average crowd. It's getting to a point with me, with this powerful PS4 that I have in here, and an Xbox One, and these, that I heard talk today of a PS5 because the Scorpion is putting pressure on Sony. I can't give games a pass. I can't give it a chance if it's not on a level. Think about it. I'll give y'all a perfect example. Smitty has been playing Madden 08 on the PS2, having a good time with it. These games don't look like that. They ain't even functioning like that. I mean, they moving like, you're like, what? I can't do it. Y'all hear me complain about the foot planting and player movement in Madden 17. There's no way. This is just me. There's no way I can play that game, Access, whatever else is coming out. I can't. I will play it and say, oh, okay, I see what y'all got going on. Support them in the whole nine. But it ain't gonna take me away from nothing. It's just not there yet. Like, to me, I think we're at a state to where indie game, man, boy, you swimming in the ocean without, you ain't got no boat. All you got is that you ain't really got, you got like half of the life preserver left. Like you struggling because and nowadays you got to come in hidden. Like, it's gonna have to be a company like Sony or Microsoft. Like, it's gonna have to be a big conglomerate that's been working. Not only that, is gonna have to be somebody like a Sony or a 2K. We're gonna have to hear, oh, this game has been in production for 5 years and now we can drop it. Because if not, bruh, forget about it. Forget about just pleasing, I ain't gonna say pleasing, because they ain't gonna please me with what they got. But forget about enticing us. It's about the dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah.
Madden got it on lock right now, bro. I'm sorry. Hate it or love it. They are in the bed with the NFL. The NFL is in the bed with them. They in a monogamous relationship. Ain't neither one of them thinking about creeping on the other. They both got their rings on every time they go out. Dog, somebody gonna have to come with some heavyweight stuff for it even to matter. And I hate to say that, but I don't want to see these guys that are putting their hard work into these products for their dreams to just get crushed. And what I mean by dreams getting crushed, because I don't want to say what they're doing is a waste, because to me, if that was my baby and I wanted to do it, that's all that matters to me. Prime example, I always give y'all quick stories. A lot of you guys know that I used to be an active hip hop artist, right? No, I never became Jay-Z, because a lot of you dudes don't even know I did that. But I did a lot. I opened for LL, for Nas, for Lupe. I met several people. We did our thing. Got paid for shows. We just never became these mega stars. It's reasons behind it. It won't really necessarily skill. It was a lot of politics stuff, and I kind of bowed out. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that no more. I'm gonna go ahead and go forward with other things in life. But my point is, I had a great time. I had a good time. So if your dream is to build a game, congratulations. I'm not gonna knock you for that. I'm just saying, I hope that you realize you're just doing it for you and those who will follow the movement, because it's not gonna last, man. I just don't see it competing. So I didn't mean to go on that quick tirade, man. I just felt like I needed to say it because people keep asking me, Sim, I heard they got this. Oh man, did you see them player models? And I'm like, come on, dude. Come on, stop. Please stop with that. Let's just be real about it. When we got games like, and this ain't even the best game that, some people would say, when you got games like the Wildlands that you can play. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. But Smitty, you got anything to add to that before we move forward?
I mean, you pretty much said it, brother. No one's buying these games. No one's buying these games with all this, excuse me, the updates and everything else that's going on these consoles now. And I mean, I just cut on, like, I did the graphical upscaling. Like, I don't have a PS4 Pro, but I just do the visual upscaling and everything. And it's like, I play Horizon Zero Dawn or any of my games, and it's like the visuals are so much tighter. It just makes me imagine if I had a PS4 Pro. But that's my whole point. Off of that alone, in the world, I could play with either Cal or this Canadian or any of that. I wouldn't be able to get down with any of it because of that aspect. We get these we get these consoles and we get these TVs and we do all that stuff or whatever. We don't get these consoles and such just for the sake of, so I can say I got one. Like, no, like, we get it because we want to see when we want to be entertained, whatever game it is we play, we want to enjoy not only the gameplay experience, tangibility, but then also just a visual standpoint. We want that visual ambiance. And you're telling me I'm going to get these consoles and TVs to see lesser than PS2 quality gameplay graphics like that as it's in motion, not these up close screenshots of models, but from a position that you're actually going to play the game in. Man, yeah, right. Ain't no way in the world that game's going to get played. So no.
You know what else, Smitty? And I'm sure you know this from playing it. Y'all watch that Madden 08. How much stuff in that game would we rip apart right now? Like, let's say if that game was out now, like, fast forward, the latest game is Madden 08. And the reason why I say that is because it just proves, I hate saying it proves my point because everyone's opinion is different. I never want to act like my opinion is the right one or someone else is in the right one. But it's my opinion that games like Madden 08, maybe not in 08, because by that time we were critiquing things a little bit. Not on YouTube yet, but Madden 05, 2K5. When we was really playing those games, I won't doing all these critiques and breakdown. I was just playing it. We was younger then. You know what I'm saying? So as we have gotten older, our expectations and our wants have grown greatly. Because I watched that game, I love watching Smitty's streams because it's interesting just seeing the things that was in that game. You're like, oh man, we need that now. But just looking at the gameplay, it was some of the craziest, like, it's some crazy stuff that went on in that game. But at that time, we weren't even really beefing about it. And you notice when Smitty is telling you guys what should be in Madden 17 now, he's referencing things like the division cone, how you can place the ball, things like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hearing him say nothing about how good the trenches was. You ain't hearing Smitty say nothing about the DB and wideout interactions or lack thereof. You see what I'm saying? So I only say that to say this, and then I'll throw it to DJ and see if he has anything to add in regards to those games. I say that to say this. We have to keep in mind that a lot of the stuff that we're requesting Hasn't been done. Let's be honest. Some of the things that we request, we've seen it in previous products. A lot of the stuff we asking, particularly with DB and wideout stuff, and I'm the biggest culprit. I'm guilty of it. And trenches. We ain't never seen it done in no football game. Never. And Smitty knows what I'm talking about. The stuff that we be asking for when we down there ain't never been done.
Yep.
So we have to, like the zone play, for instance. We all know deep zone needs work, but we never seen zones like the zones that are in Madden right now. There's never been a game that they are actually reading the 1, 2, and the 3 receiver. They ain't never done that.
Nope.
So there's gonna be holes in that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the last thing I wanted to say before I throw it to DJ, I posed a question in the chat, and I didn't look to see if you guys answered it. But I noticed DSK made a comment. He said that they need new programmers. And DSK, this is not a slight to you or nothing. This is actually a legit question, because I see it come from a lot of people. People a lot. And again, I'm not including DSK, because DSK is not like some of these morons in the community. Y'all know what I'm saying. They always say, oh, so-and-so needs to be fired. Oh, they don't know what they're doing. They can't make a football game. Where's the evidence that any of you guys have that the engineers and programmers at EA aren't good ones? Like, where's the actual evidence? I have to ask that question because none of us knows what it takes to produce what we want. I can guarantee you, guys like Cal, Access Football, Canuck Football, I'm sure they kind of know. They're seeing it. Like, okay, it's a little hard to do that. So what I'm saying is, trust me. And I don't think it's a problem with programmers and engineers, bro. I'm saying bro as a broad, like I'm speaking to everybody. Trust me. Trust me. I have had conversations and I've seen these engineers, particularly guys who work on Madden, that's done other things in the company, like worked on Battlefield, Battlefront. Some of these guys I know that I've heard that they've worked on Mass Effect. I'm just saying. It's not the programming, man. I don't know how many times we can say this, but this is the absolute truth. Is what these guys are able to do in the allotted amount of time and the allotted amount of hours, period. Because trust me, there are guys that I have sat and had one-on-one conversations with engineers, because Smitty and I and Azure ask real questions. We don't go down there and be like, hey, can we do that? No. We ask straight up, hey man, how can this happen? How can you do this? And I've had them say, oh yeah, if we could actually do that, but it would take, in order to do that right, it might take about 2 years to do that because of this and this and that and the protocol. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand. It's not as simple as we need this and then they put it in. Nah, man. Trust me. That zone thing that we got, that was like a 2-year project. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And A-Dub even said then we ran out of time. We couldn't get to the deep zones. Like, they not blowing smoke up y'all's butt when they say that. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, you don't have to believe me. I'm just saying, I'm going to always tell y'all what I know. We going to go down together. So if I'm being lied to, then y'all are being lied to. But trust me, man, it ain't that. These guys know what they're doing. They just got to, those suits got to open up that wallet, man, and stop playing. I actually think they need to hire more people. Even though there's a lot of people on the team, I think they need to have multiple people and multiple segments of Madden and all of their games to make sure everything is as tight as possible, since you are, at a short time frame. You're dealing with like a 9-month cycle. So not even that. I think it's more, Smitty, is more like 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
But
like 6-7 months.
Yeah.
So it take, that's why they have these that's why they try to do things through patches and stuff like that or what have you to add into the game because of those constraints that they have. And it's like regardless of budget and all that stuff or whatever, you know, like that's why when like us like we spoke about before, when you make comparisons to these other titles, it pales in comparison. Because we can't compare GTA and Horizon and all that game, like all these games that it took like 5-6 years to be built and stuff like that, and we're immediately comparing it to Madden that they've had like between 6 and 7, 8 months to build. Like, no, it's not the same exact thing. So it's like, yeah, when they introduce these things, there's nothing wrong with them introducing them because that's what we say that needs to happen. But it's just going to take time for it to be built out. That's just like the stuff you see in NBA 2K right now. They have multiple systems that they added into their game that I already say off top. Man, it's probably going to be a good 2 to 3 years before you see them blow it all the way out and it actually functions right. You see what I'm saying? And it's like it's no different here. Because when you add some things in, it could take away from other things, i.e. defensive rotations being broke in 2K at launch. You know what I mean? Them opening the game up and trying to make it more loose and more organic and not as heavily reliant on two-man sequencing. You got dudes standing around on the court, looking at the defenders and looking at the ball handlers, acting like they ain't got a clue what to do. See what I'm saying? So that's just the bottom line. And I know narrowed. I know. You can't, you know.
Yeah, I saw that.
I already know narrowed. You're one of those guys, so it's whatever.
Again, and I want to get back to DJ, but I have to say this. I have to say this all the time. I feel again, man. If I felt that strongly about something, I wouldn't even involve myself with it. Like if I really felt like EA don't care, there's only this, I wouldn't. Trust me. Let me tell y'all something about me. I'm one of the realest people, and I hate talking on myself, but I got people that are vouch for this. I don't involve myself with anything that's fraud. If I thought for 1 minute that what I hear from Rex and Clint and A-Dub and Scant and all these guys, Vic Lugo, he was there. If I thought for 1 second that they was blowing smoke, or they won't keep it at 100, or they were just trying to sell me a dream, I would not be a game changer. The guy who pulled me into the program can vouch for this. When I first went down to EA, right? I wasn't a game changer right away. We had a conversation. I said, yo, what's this? What does this entail? Am I really going to be able to give real feedback? Are they really going to listen? Is it a waste of time? I mean, I investigated. I talked to other guys in the program, guys who are now employed there. They told me the real. I wouldn't be involved. There's no, I guess I would say there's no benefit like of me being a game changer if it was for no reason. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It don't do nothing for me. Like this guy asked me earlier this week, y'all, how much he was serious. He wasn't even joking. He said, how did you become a game changer, man? I'm interested in doing that, man. If you don't mind me asking, how much does it cost? You know, how much do they pay you? And I was like, they pay us. They don't pay us. They don't pay us nothing. There's no check involved with this. I don't need EA and Madden to do YouTube. None of that. So trust me, I wouldn't do it if I felt like it was literally a waste of my time. Now, if it turns out years from now, and it comes to find out, oh, they just never made any changes, so be it. But I'm talking about if I literally felt that way, like literally, I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So I just don't understand that you guys that have that negative connotation, like that's because that's so why have the conversation? If that's your position, that's your position. Same thing, and y'all know I always refer it back to hip hop. Same thing I say about Drake. I ain't really into Drake music like that. I don't listen to Drake like that. I hear a song here and there. I don't buy no albums. I know what to expect. I can't expect him to be Kendrick Lamar. Hell, I can't even expect him to be Lecrae. I can't expect that from Drake. So I don't listen. I don't ask him to do it. I don't say he'll never do it. He's about the girls. He like to say, I already know that. So you don't hear me say anything about Drake's. You never heard me say anything about reviewing his album. I already know. So I'm like this. You got it. I'll let the Drake fans be Drake fans. Y'all go do what y'all do. That's all I'm saying. If you really feel that way about EA and Madden, why bother yourself with the conversation? Why even come listen to the show? Y'all know almost every show there's going to be a segment about Madden. I don't know, man, but DJ, my bad, man. Please
don't worry about it.
Chime in on any of the things that we just talked about.
Well, just to walk backwards here, yeah, I wonder if there's so much negativity about, a particular game or whatnot. Why do you tune in to, and yes, I'm addressing, what's his name, Nailrod. Why would you tune in to a show when you know you're just going to spew negativity? Now, I'm not saying that you have to be, there's a thing where you're being critical. It's one thing to be that, but it's another thing to just go to town, and just constantly fight with people. Now, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it's one of those things where, okay, and I think you even sat there and said it just now, just to have a discussion. And it's, when you talk about having a discussion or debate or whatever you have, you go in with an open mind, with an open concept of, okay, well, I'm going in it with my point of view, but I have to be aware of other people's points of views. And also you have to be aware that other people may know something that you may not know. So
pretty much.
You can't really just think that your way is the only way. You have to go into it. You have your point of view, but you have to also understand that you're just part of the story. So overall, you have a game in Madden that everybody from their particular viewpoints looks at this game. Oh, this game sucks. Oh, this is the greatest game ever. Oh, I don't know how to play this game. Man, I know all the ins and outs of this game. All spectrums are looking at this game and giving their opinions on the game. And that's really what this show is all about when the guys talk about Madden. So yes, I'll even excuse the fact that, yeah, you're here to watch the show, hear what's being said, and understand that your view isn't the only view that when it comes to Madden, but be open to what everyone else has to say and be willing to possibly back down when you're presented with facts. And the key word, facts, about either improvements, mistakes, vice versa. At the end, the only fact here is the video game itself, Madden. Other than that, all of us are giving our opinions, and hopefully we can learn from each other instead of constantly fighting each other like we did some years ago, because I'm not going to go into this tirade about what this football sim community used to be like.
Oh.
We can go back on a time warp just 2 years ago, and we can tell you about battles, groups like the Simheads United, that group. Yeah, exactly. And it was like, I could understand where they were coming from, but it was just so much vitriol coming from that way, because they were really going hard at EA and the company. And to tell you the truth, Madden was just in the way. So we don't want to go back to those 2-3 years ago conversations, but I do like the fact that we do have a show here that everybody can come and discuss things and not really, don't fight in the chats. Just be civil in the chats and be civil all around and help improve this game. And then just one last thing. Any other company that wants to make a game, because I think you, Smitty, Sim, you guys have always said this, that other companies are looking at this. They're looking at the community and they're like, maybe we don't want to make a football game. It seems like they don't know what they want. They're fighting over this and that. And I don't think we were even prepared to deal with that. I'm like, look what happened with Joe Montana. I'm like, they tried their hand, and yeah, they did a poor job of how they handled the community, but yeah. So I like where things are right now, and people are open to discuss things, and that's where I'll wrap up at.
Hey, Terry Crew. Dan's crazy in the chat. Yeah, man, just chill out with all that, man. Listen, all of the cursing that come on, and go do what Neff said. You know, some would say what Neff just said is a curse too, but I think most of us in here would rather enjoy doing that at times. So why don't you go do that and come back and relax? Just chill, man. Like, have your opinion, that's cool, but all of the rah-rah, like, we passed that. Like DJ said, we've been through that. That we are past all of that. The fact of the matter is there's only one football game here for us all to play. Technically. When you want to play an old game, no problem. So even if every single word you said is fact, which it ain't, it can't be. You're not in that building. There's no way you can say that. But even if it was, why not all of us form this movement to change the way they act? That is the main reason why we got into that building and fought to get there, so we could change the way the game is being produced, which we have helped to do. Yep. Rex Dixon has acknowledged that several times, has said us by name, and others. So that's all I'm saying, man. And who, at the end of the day, I gotta say this, and then we'll move on. It's a video game, bro. I really don't care. Like, to be honest with y'all, I know y'all gonna say, "Oh, Sim, don't say that." At the end of the day, I really don't care. I don't care if EA or Madden ever gets it, because what I'm saying is, if they don't, my life still goes on. I don't care. I'm just trying to, and like DJ is doing, showing many games to play. At the end of the day, if they get it, they get it. If they don't, I voice my opinion, and I go right over here and I hug my wife, kiss the wife, play with my son, go to work, chill. Life still goes on. It is not that serious. It's not that serious. For me to have all this hatred or negative connotation against this, who cares? They're gonna do what they want to do regardless. If they are all about mutt, that's what they're gonna do. Ain't none of us gonna change. we could try. And like I said, Smitty knows it was a time when we was like, yo, if this don't work, if we don't start seeing some changes, I ain't fooling with them. Then things started changing. So I'm gonna ride along as long as we're getting things and they're doing things we want them to do, and they're building the game we want, understanding that it will take them time. But the minute I feel like they ain't doing nothing, let it become just a competitive Madden. That's all it is. I'm out of it. I'm done. I promise y'all. But anyway, man, let's move on. Speaking of Madden, let's talk about this defensive camera. DJ. What happened? Did we get some live stuff going on in the chat? What happened?
Oh, it's been popping off.
Yeah.
It's been going. This is like a heavyweight bout. It's one swing after another.
My man, listen, he said we need to bring him in. You're welcome to come on, bro. You really are.
Accept that challenge.
All we need is your email. Come on.
Get the email address and come right on in. Come on.
I mean, hey,
round over.
So, come on in. I mean, we talk to anybody, and I'll let you talk. I ain't gonna cut you off. I'll sit there so everybody can hear what you're saying, because it's real easy to type, but I want people to hear what you're saying. So they can decide for themselves if they agree or disagree. Because it's going to be people who are going to watch this beyond the live show.
Mm-hmm.
So you're welcome. Come on in. As long as you can have dialogue. And as soon as you start acting ignorant, we got to let you go. But if you can have dialogue and we can go back and forth, you're welcome. Shoot me an email address. We bring you on in.
So you said he already called. See?
When?
I think that may have been when you guys were doing the radio portion, not the hangouts. So it may have been a long time ago.
Come on, buddy.
We talking
buddy.
today.
We talking about right now.
Today, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you think I'm going to remember who he was? Like, come on, dude. You actually called me a really smart guy. You might be. Listen, you might be. Listen.
That's the whole thing. Come on in. Like, I don't understand why.
And you know what? Let's say
let me find that episode.
I ain't gotta find that episode. See, come on.
Let's say this last thing, and we're gonna move on because now
we gotta move on from this. Yeah.
I apologize. I apologize to the viewers because this is not what we should be doing. But let me just say this last thing. You are probably a very smart, intelligent guy because of the opinions that you derive to. Makes sense. I'm just saying. You never hear me when I talk about Madden and stuff, and when I go into dev talk and stuff. Y'all notice I don't throw opinions at you. I throw the facts that I've heard out of their mouths. Now you can take it and say it's your opinion whether or not they're telling me the truth, rightfully so. But I don't hit y'all with this is what they that ain't what's going on. This is actually what's happening from what I see. That's all. So nobody's saying that you're dumb. Or nothing like that. We're just saying, chill out with all of the negativity. Just give your critical feedback and your constructive criticism, and that's it. But all of you got negative energy is all I'm saying. Come on with that. Hey, nobody needs that. We ain't on that right now. Come on. Because believe you me, there's a lot of these, particularly the 2 games that we play, we could have that same negativity towards 2K and Madden. So that's all I'm saying. Like, we're off that. We're all about trying to better these games. Period. Sorry, listeners. We got off track. Happens sometimes when it's live. Apologize for that. But let's move on. So, guys, we're going to talk about the defensive camera. I definitely want to throw this to Smitty, but just to bring y'all up to speed, the debate is whether or not that camera is simulation. Now, and I'm sure Smitty's going to break it down very well. It's not simulation like you have a helmet on. That's not kid ourselves. Right. But some of us feel like it puts a more of a sim spin on things because now you can't see the whole field. You got to play your position. So now if you're controlling the linebacker, you really got to drop back in your spots. You got to read your keys. Same way if you're playing in the secondary. If you're playing in the trenches, you got to, try to work around guys from that perspective. It makes it a little more real. We had a debate in our league where certain guys weren't feeling that. And it got real nasty. It just got to a point where, excuse me, guys were, just going at each other. And again, I'm like, dude, this is a game. Why are we doing this? But the point is, we feel like it puts a sim spin on things, but don't want to take the thunder from Smitty. Go ahead and take it away, man. Let them know what you're talking about in terms of that camera.
Well, basically, like what I'm getting at is that the defensive camera, people like we had dialogue going on in our league. I even made a video about it yesterday. And the thing is that the perspective that it gives, is it the ultimate simulation camera and all that stuff? Like, this is the best of the best view and all that. No, like Sim said, it's not putting you inside the helmet perspective of the player like that. But the thing is, though, it does, you at least from when you're, from the perspective of that position, like if I'm playing defensive line, all I'm able to do, if I play whichever player, whether it's one of the ends, one of the tackles, all my view is going to be restricted to that front. It's not going to be open to the linebacking core and the secondary all the way back to the safety. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. So if I want to make defensive adjustments and stuff like that, I can still make them, but I also have to understand the position that I'm at because I'm on that end, and all I'm controlling is what that player is able to do, nothing more. See, the problem is when you look at Madden and you look at how, like, we had some guys, a certain guy, I should say, or guys that really weren't playing from that view. They said that it's not. They said that it's not. It's not sim, and it doesn't replicate what happens. Like that's not replicating it from the sport perspective. But I have to disagree with it because if I select one of the linebacking core, then I'm controlling that linebacker, and I'm only going to be able to see a segment from the field from that standpoint moving forward. Up to the D line. If I play one of the corners, I'm only going to be able to see a segment of the field based upon what side of the field I'm lined up on and what formation it's out of. See what I mean? And the only position where you're really going to have that view as far as everything in front of you is safety spot. As you should. That should be the case, right? So when you look at Madden and you see the kind of view it is that they have in the game right now, it does make it more of a challenge because now you got to be reliant on, if you're calling a zone, now that zone effectiveness and the way it works and everything is reliant upon what those players do across the board. You know what I mean? Now you're hoping that your other players will interact with each other the proper way. You see what I mean? So when I'm playing, when I play, like I've dabbled with it a little bit, experimented with it a smidge. And the thing is, when you're playing from that perspective, I like it because, especially for the sake of our league, that means you got to pay more attention. You got to scout a bit more. You see what I mean? You got to pay attention to what's going on as far as what that team scheme is, what my opponent likes to do, the play calling that what kind of play calling am I going to go for based upon how they choose to run their offense. And then from there, I choose what position it is I'm going to play from, and then I go into practice mode and learn and get myself acclimated to what happens on the field, based off of those adjustments, and then I play from there. So, but I like that defensive, basically player lock. You're only on one player, and that's all it is you're able to play by, and go by. I like that view because it puts you right up there on that player, to me, at least enough, because it still is an elevated view, but it still is restricted to give the perspective of you controlling that player. So I like it. You know what I'm saying? Don't have to necessarily agree with it, but I like it. So I'll throw it to you, though, Sim.
Yeah, man. I'm just gonna say what I said here in the chat. I had to. I don't want to derail the conversation. I'm gonna throw it to DJ, but I don't. I never understand men commenting on another man's looks.
Okay.
I don't get this. I'm sorry. Call me old school or whatever. And listen, this ain't no indictment on, folks that may do that type of thing. That's their business. But I get the impression that when guys do that, most of these guys are not that way. That ain't your preference. So I don't understand. Why do men always do that? Man, you seen your picture? Yeah. What? What are you talking about? But don't worry about it. You're on your way to getting booted anyway. But go ahead, DJ. I just had to say that because this is a new generation, man. I ain't used to it.
Yeah, it's a very visual generation. I'm like, I think when we grew up, we were doing the same thing, but we did it to each other's face. We didn't do it in the chat. But anyway, the defensive camera, I think it's sim. And the reason and the way I look at it is that in the real, I play in a rec league. I don't, because of like previous injuries and stuff like that, I don't play like semi-professionally like I was. So I play in a rec league. It's 2-hand touch or whatever. You know, call me soft or whatever, but I ain't taking another shot on my knee. But Smitty brought up the safety position, in which that's the position I play in my rec league. I also play wide receiver because it's like Iron Man. So looking at what I'm viewing while I'm on the field, there are certain aspects of that defensive camera that I wish they would add on, like the ability to scan the field left to right. Like, yeah, right now it seems like the camera is just fixated on the ball, which, yeah, is a basic fundamental of football. But you, from the safety position, you're trying to not only understand the formation that you see, which you can see the formation, but if you have the ability to scan right, to scan left, then you have the ability to possibly see what route combinations could come about. If you could, I know it's kind of tricky to have it also take place while the play is in motion to be able to look, because you can possibly get burnt deep by a receiver just running down the sideline, especially if you're supposed to be playing cover 2. And you don't have that view because you don't have that ability to look in that direction, or at least turn it so you can at least catch it out your peripheral. You're stuck right now. The way Madden is, it's like you're stuck on the ball. So you have to just guess that, okay, maybe the corner did get beat. I don't know. I can't really see because I think that's the negative that I have about that view. But if they would just add to that the ability to scan left or right, I think that would help that camera a little bit more and give it a little bit more sim aspects than it has already.
Yeah, man. I'm sitting here, I'm looking puzzled because Smitty definitely would know this, and I know Neff would too. Couldn't you do that in Backbreaker?
I thought you could, yeah.
What?
Couldn't you, like, you could actually scan the field?
Oh yeah, go from well.
I think there was
defensively. No, yeah, you could. You could focus.
Yeah,
that's what you basically did. But the focus though would make you focus in on the ball. Essentially, like it would zone everything in and focus on the ball. But yeah, you could essentially see left to right what's going on though from the position you were playing. So, yep.
Yeah, man, it definitely need that. And that's a great addition and great idea, DJ. But yeah, man, just to speak on the topic that we were discussing, and I don't think the vote passed, Smitty, just to give you an update. But we were thinking about in the league was like, yo, we should do to kind of, change it up a little bit, make, spice it up a little bit. He proposed playing in the zoom cam on offense and playing in the defensive cam on defense. So some people were saying, they didn't really want to do the zoom cam, but then the defensive camera became a little interesting because we was like, you know what? The main thing that like Azure and some of the other guys were saying, it will make you have to play defense and have to call a good coverage. And it also would take the ability away from you being able to cover like 2 reads with one player. You know how Madden allows you to lurk. That's the term in the community as far as the competitive community.
Yeah.
And these guys cover too much ground. So I was like, I ain't opposed to that. But we had a couple guys in the league, particularly one guy that just really didn't want to do it. And I'm like, I feel you, but the argument was whether it's sim or not. And this was my counter to the whole argument. Technically, the standard Madden view is nothing sim about that. Absolutely nothing. Number 2, in order for it to be sim-like, it would have to be like 2K5's first person. You got to get in a helmet. But then even if you did that, like DJ said, would you have the ability to actually scan the field? Or do you always have to move? You see what I'm saying? Because in real football, for those of us who actually played, or even if you didn't play, you can imagine this even when you watch it. Your body could be moving this way and your head is doing like that. you scan it, or your eyes. I know when on defense, I always was watching the ball, which, by the way, is another beef that I've had with Madden. I don't feel like the players are always watching the ball. D-line, linebackers, secondary, etc. The D linemen in real football, they know where to go or they know where they try to get to based on the ball. If they see the guy's running that way, he gonna try to shed that way. They're always doing this. And they're pushing guys out of the way or trying to rip to where the ball is. In Madden currently, you notice it. The guys will be caught in the animation and they just, fighting each other. The ball carrier right here, he's still doing this. That's not real. So that's one thing I've been trying to present to the devs. We need to get that head tracking right and make them recognize what's happening instead of just locked into the animation. But back to reality, in real world, you do that. You look to see where the ball is. It's how you know where to go. So how can you get that feel in a video game? Now, one guy's argument was it's still a video game. I agree with that. But you can't make one argument match the other argument. It's either a video game or it's not sim or it is sim. So again, my opinion of it, man, is I think it does pose a sim aspect in terms of being able to control from this view, can't see the whole field. Whether you choose a D lineman, a linebacker, or a secondary player, you have to play your position accordingly. I like that. It could use some upgrades like DJ suggested. But to get into a whole debate about it not being sim, again, everybody's opinion, and I respect them. But I think that does add a sim element to it. And at the end of the day, I feel like, man, why not just try it? If it ain't for you, cool. And I don't think we're going to do it anyway, but I wouldn't have been opposed to doing it because my main point in the whole thing, Smitty, was we all under the same handicap. If the whole league is playing that way, it's the same handicap. Because I kept hearing a couple guys say, it ain't fair. I don't feel like I can. Yeah, but that's the same for all of us. We all got the same handicap. It'd be different if I say only you got to play like that. then that's a different story. But if we all imagine that playing a franchise mode and we all playing on that camp, like that would be kind of crazy because then you really can say, yo, who's defense, who built the best team, or how many user picks you really, created. That'd be crazy to have a season like that. That would be kind of dope, in my opinion. But, everybody don't want to play like that. So I don't know. My final thoughts, I think it adds a sim element. No, I don't think it's a fully sim camera. And I just think that's where the lines were blurring in the discussion. But those are our thoughts on that. Anything else you guys want to add before we move on to the New York Knicks news?
I'm ready to talk about them Knicks.
Well, yeah, man, go ahead, man. You can kick it off. For you guys that don't know, when the Knicks played the Warriors, they decided to cut off all the music, all the stadium music, as well as the arena music, I guess I would say, as well as they didn't have videos playing. And what was the reason? Draymond Green didn't seem to like it, but we want you guys share in the chat what you thought about that situation. But yeah, DJ, man, how did you feel about that? Was that crazy or did it work or what?
See, I don't even look at it as a strategic element.
Right.
I think they really wanted to. I think they really wanted to just have a pure basketball experience. Now, not a lot has gone right for the New York Knicks this season. The triangle is disappearing. The players are not playing together. Season just teetering on the edge of disaster. They could still make a run, but I think it's a throwback in some ways because if you think back possibly in the 70s, obviously I wasn't alive during the 70s, but if you go back and watch the footage of the 70s, that was their glory days. The fact that I had to go back that far, I think not having the music playing, and it was just like no music, no entertainment, no nothing, just straight basketball. And I think if you look at the symbolic nature, I think that's what the New York Knicks and their players and their organization needs to get back to. Just basketball, because right now that team it's not about basketball anymore. It's about, Phil Jackson said this, Carmelo's may not be the elite basketball player that he says he is, and so on, and player riffs here and there. So just to be a fan and go to a game at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, and just enjoy a game of basketball for once. Don't worry about the music. Don't worry about the entertainment. People have cell phones. They can get on the headsets or earpieces. If they want to play their own music, they can. But I don't think it was a strategic element involved in doing that. Now, in the second half, obviously they turned everything back on, so there was no complaints in the second half. But for that first half, I love the fact that the Garden made it a pure basketball experience. And I think more teams should try that. Only for half, though, because I know how short attention span the audiences are these days in the NBA, NFL, and all that type of thing. So,
what you think, Smitty? And it's interesting that DJ said that, because I definitely will give my thoughts on it. I kind of felt the same way. I think it was blown out of proportion a little bit as far as they was trying to do something to strategically to put them at a disadvantage. I didn't think that. But what you think, Smitty?
Let me see. What was the main thing that DJ was asking? Well, that was the main, not DJ, but what was the main point?
Basically, when the Knicks played.
Oh, when they played and it was quiet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they decided to take everything out for the first half.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't, it's not like it wasn't exactly mind-blowing to me or what have you. It was like, I was very passive about it when I looked at it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you could have all the music and sound effects going on or have none at all. It really doesn't hurt me none. It's not, I should say, it's not really a big deal that they leave it the way it is. So, it's whatever. Like, I'm very nonchalant about that view. About the way they played.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I didn't. It's this social media, man. And it's funny because as y'all are talking, what am I doing? I'm looking at Twitter. It's like
multitasking.
Oh my God. The social media has helped and ruined things at the same time. I like it. I do like news comes out quick. It's a good way. Think about it. It's a good way for us to all interact. Even YouTube is social media. Look at all these different people, subscribers, et cetera, that you can interact with. That's cool. But you also get craziness with social media. You get what they call the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion is very funny because they don't care about the truth. It's like my boy, y'all know I always quote Charlemagne the God. For some of y'all that may not know who that is. And he's a little risque at times, but love that dude because he reminds me of who I was when I was in that line of work and who I would be if I was still in the music game like that. I told it like it was. I didn't hide any. I didn't hold no punches. I wasn't afraid to clown myself if I had to. But he's a real dude. And like I said, he might say some extra things that some people don't agree with, but for the most part, he's a real guy. That's why he has so many opportunities to interview these people that you never would have thought hip hop would have been able to do. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he always says, nobody cares about the truth because the lie is more entertaining. That is absolutely right. That court of public opinion, boy, when I saw the story, that's what the story was. Oh, they tried to do something psychologically. And I'm thinking, how does that affect a basketball player? To me, I might be able to lock in a little more if there ain't all that other stuff going on.
Right.
Because how many times have we seen players on the bench dancing and whatnot? We see it even in the NFL. Dudes, OBJ, Beckham is always out there. So I didn't take it as, I was like, what strategic aspect? And then Draymond Green. And hey, you know, why don't we talk about basketball a little bit, fellas? We got some time to kill. I'm gonna say something about them Warriors. I like Steph Curry. Love Klay Thompson. I really like Klay Thompson. I like his game. I even like his personality from what I see. He doesn't come off to me as the diva type, you know. Steph, I like him, but sometimes Steph gets a little arrogant at times, which I'm cool with. You're supposed to be that way when you play sports. You're supposed to have a little edge to you. Draymond Green get on my nerves sometimes, man. I just gotta say it. That dude he blew this whole situation up, saying that it was crazy and they trying to get. What are you talking about? Like, they just wanted to have a core essence of basketball. Now, who knows? I don't know. Maybe they did have some strategic thing to it, but I just don't believe they did. But why was that such a problem, Draymond Green? What was the issue? And because he made it a story, then it blew up, and then now we're talking about it here on Sim Standard Radio, Sim Standard Podcast, whatever you want to call it. I just don't get it, man. But in terms of basketball, I'll throw it to you guys here in a second. It's interesting now, man. No KD. The Warriors don't look that good, Matt. Now, let me stop myself. They still playing good ball for the most part. They still going to probably be a force in the playoffs. We all know that. But like I said a week or so ago, they ain't the same team, man. They don't have that same bench, and they're struggling a little bit since KD went down. It looks like this happens to them because it happened even last year. But it looked like Steph and Klay getting cold a little more than they normally get cold. Weird. You know, Boston went to Oracle and gave them the business. They had a good tight game, and then Boston was like, "No, we got this one." And took it over. In the end, a team like Boston, which is going to be a pretty good team in year two, couple more years, couple more pieces, they're going to be a force. But you didn't see that last year. They don't lose games in the Oracle. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting, man. Keep your eye on the Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
Keep your eye on the Spurs. They better hope that Kevin Durant is healthy. Because if not, they don't have that same. See, Kevin Durant compensated for the loss of some of those guys from last year. But without him, I don't know. No. Everybody talking about the trilogy. I don't know. And hey, don't sleep on Boston. Don't act like Cleveland might not get caught with their pants down. You never know. Boston looked like a team that's hungry. You know what I mean by that is I don't think they are a better team than Cleveland. Cleveland should come out the East. But Boston has shown that they can play with anybody. And they hungry. They the up and coming. So they going to be focused and try to dethrone you. They ain't going to lay down. So if you get caught slipping, they might get you out of there. Don't act like it can't happen. Some people will say, "Oh, that's crazy, Cleveland." No. It could happen. Yeah. Don't sleep on the Wiz kids either.
Mm-hmm.
Only problem with the Wizards is I think that Boston and Washington going to meet somewhere. That's going to be the problem. Both of them ain't going to be able to advance. That's the only issue I would say for the Wiz kids and Boston. One of them ain't going to make it because I think somehow it's going to play out the way they're going to have to play each other. But what y'all think? I'll throw it to you, Smitty. First of all, give your thoughts on Draymond Green. Personality-wise, I ain't talking about ball player, just the stuff he do on the court. Like the leg flip, the flying kicks.
Kicking and all that. Yeah.
Come on, bro. It ain't that. No. Some of that have to be on purpose. But what are your thoughts on that, man? And your thoughts on the West? What might happen there?
Well, I mean, Draymond Green be wilding out. You know what I'm saying? In terms of his persona. And then on top of that, him being on him doing all the leg kicks and everything. Like, dude be wilding out. Excuse me. But what I will say though is that he's a good player, but it's like he mentally makes some really bad decisions. Okay, what I mean, getting into fights with people, scrapping, scuffling, and all that stuff. See, it's like he's trying to be a new age Dennis Rodman, but he's failing at it miserably. You know what I'm saying? Because like Dennis didn't get he did get texts against him and stuff like that or whatever. But the thing is, he's not getting the job done like Rodman was, at least on the defensive front, most definitely not. But he's a solid player. So I'll say that. Got to give him that credit. But what I will say, let me see. As far as the West, I mean, look, you just had a game the other day where Russell Westbrook dropped 58 and lost.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that goes to show you how much, when it comes to the playoffs, he's going to have to average 60. He's going to have to average that again because it's like you're going to have to take it to yet another level. And I don't think with the team he has right now, I don't think he'll be able to sustain. I don't think he'd be able to keep up that kind of activity. So, but then also you look at these other teams and it's like really this whole thing boils down to the Spurs and Golden State in the West. To me, I mean, yes, you got you got Harden and you got Harden out there and them boys doing them things. So, oh, okay. Oh, that's what's up. Oh, okay, bet. Get them on in. But Sim, that's what's up. Hopefully you can get in. But no, back to the point is that as far as like I said, Western Conference stacked up. Okay, the talent, the competition, and everything is stacked up. They do, I think it's going to be the most competitive in the West and out of the playoff tree. But at the end of the day, I was about to say the Pistons, not the Pistons, but when it comes down to it, I mean, the East is pretty much the like I really don't see somebody coming up and possibly taking out Cleveland, even though like you had said before, Sim, Boston, they could be a legit team in about a year or two. That's real though. They could be. But at the same time though, with Philly, Ben Simmons, he come into the fold. You got Joel Embiid, a healthy Joel Embiid.
Man, Lord.
That's upsetting again, but you do that and those guys actually gel together, man, you got a solid team come next year. And then plus they're gonna have a pick for the draft. So I mean, a good pick at least, I think, unless it's somebody else owns it. They should have a solid pick for the draft this year. So they'll be able to do something. So I'm saying there's a lot of bright light for the future, but presently it's going to be either the Spurs. It's going to be the Spurs, Golden State. You could possibly see, I would say possibly, real outside dark horse possibility to see the Houston Rockets really really do some damage. So I don't know. I just think that it's going to be, just sticking with my main thoughts, is going to be the Spurs or it's going to be Golden State that's going to come out. So, but that's all I pretty much got to say, man. I'll throw it back to you, Sim.
Yeah, man, and we'll throw it to DJ here as we wrap up. But I just wanted to say this. I know Narod sent his email address. I got it saved. We're gonna bring you in next week. Make sure you're available. Because right now it's almost 10 o'clock. Show is wrapping up. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm pretty sure this could carry on for a while. And like I said, we got responsibilities and life and things like that outside of this. But I got to say, be here next week. We'll bring you right in. Nick, and we can chop it up. We'll be happy to do that. But go ahead, DJ, man. What are your thoughts on the subject?
All right, so Draymond Green at first, and I'm gonna reference back to that New York Knicks game. I don't think he wanted to hear people. I don't think he wanted his words because he's a trash talker. He constantly says whatever he wants, and I guess that music kind of masked a lot of what he said. So I don't think he wanted people to know what he was saying on the court. So I think using that smoke screen of saying, oh, the Knicks were just trying to throw us off our game. I'm like, if you're a baller, you should be able to ball without the music. That's just me. Other than that, he's a solid player. It's just his mouth just gets in the way. As far as the Western Conference, now, obviously I'm an Eastern Conference guy. And Smitty, I know you know that, I hope you know this, that Detroit beat Cleveland tonight. So I was sitting here refreshing the site. They beat them 106-101.
Oh, wow, they came back. Okay.
Yep.
Dang, I didn't think they was going to pull it off, but okay.
With the best now.
Yep, there you go. And I think Cleveland right now, they've lost 2 straight. Boston, as you mentioned, they're 2.5 back. The Wizards are 3.5 back. So those are your top 3 teams in the East. But to the West, I would say, and I don't really know much about the Western Conference teams outside the top 3, but I'm just going to pick a wild card and say Utah may be that dark horse. Not coming out of the West, but come at least. No, I would say at the most, they would probably get to the second round. Now, I say dark horse and I say second round because if the playoffs were to start, they would play the Clippers. So I already know they're making it to the second round. And yes, I'm that bold. I am going to say they're going to beat the Clippers in the first round. But I could see them possibly making it if they don't have to run into either San Antonio or Golden State on their way to the conference finals. They could easily see themselves in the finals. You know, I know I'm disregarding Houston, but I don't think there's enough defense there in Houston to really hold that 3 spot.
Yeah.
As far as the Warriors are concerned, just going back to that team as a whole, yeah, they're definitely not the same team without Kevin Durant. He definitely could. I'm like, that was a all-around type of player where he can shoot, he can drive to the basket, he can block shots. I'm like, he is the Slim Reaper, even though he chooses not to accept that nickname, that moniker. But he is the Slim Reaper, especially if you saw him in crutches and the hooded up. He looked like he wanted to kill somebody. He was like, wait till I get out these crutches. I'm gonna kill the rest of the NBA and bring death upon the court. That's the Slim Reaper that he should embrace it. Just like I remember getting on LeBron and how he should have embraced being the villain from the very beginning. I bet you he would have won more championships, even though he's been in every championship since his first year in Miami. He would embrace that. Probably would have won more championships in Miami. Probably still would have been in Miami playing the villain. But just to wrap it up, I know it's 10:01. Just to look at the East real quick. I am high on my Wizards. Obviously, I'm a homer. I'm high on my Wizards. They almost beat Cleveland in that miracle game. LeBron hit that bank shot. I know I mentioned that before, but then they did something to Boston that I didn't think the Wizards could do. They literally talked trash to them and said, "Hey, this is your funeral." Remember that game? The last game they played. Washington went on social media. The Wizards players, they dressed in all black before the game.
Oh yeah,
and proceeded to murder Boston on the court. I had never seen a Wizards team that confident to the point. I'm like, they had players in the past like Gilbert Arenas, Caron Butler. I'm like, even like with recent history, they had Paul Pierce, where he was hitting game-winning buckets and talking trash. But a funeral, and you actually go through and perform and actually get results? Like, no. John Wall to me is the best point guard in the NBA, period. Right now, there's nobody that can handle the ball. Well, okay. I'll take that back. Kyrie Irving. I had to think about it.
That's a tough one right there. But see, Wall, to me, what I like about him, he's aggressive like Westbrook, but more of a point guard than Westbrook. You know what I mean? That's what I love John Wall. I love his game.
Yeah, because I look at just one last thing. I look at the fact that the additions that the Wizards have. They have Bojan Bogdanovic. They got him, and he's been killing it ever since he joined the Wizards. I'm like, he was already doing good on Brooklyn, but he was on Brooklyn. Now he's on the Wizards, and he's got John Wall. And Bojan even said it in a post-game interview. He was like, look, I got one of the top point guards in the league that can feed me the ball. And I'm coming off the bench, scoring like 25 points a game. That's something that the Wizards definitely needed off that bench. But the rest of their bench, they still had to gel a little bit more. And, because Wall and Beal are playing a lot of minutes. So that's my concern with the Wizards, is their bench and Beal and Wall's minutes.
Yeah, they're an interesting team too, man. Because, like, to me, I mean, you probably would know, but to me, Otto Porter came out of nowhere. Like, I remember at one time he won't shooting like that. Now this dude is like a threat.
Yeah,
and I like Morris. Like they another team like Boston, man. Like I could see it almost being like a inter-conference type of rivalry with them, and Cleveland just somewhere else. It's like, which one of us gonna get to Cleveland? Because those two teams, like I would watch every time they play. I would watch it because I know that's gonna be an electric game. Because even though Isaiah Thomas is like small in stature in comparison to the rest of these guys, that dude is an animal. That dude is vicious. He will take it to the rack whenever he wants. He got a three. He can pass. Like they all right, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how things shift in the next 3-4 years. I would say it's gonna be interesting.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Well, another show down, guys. We appreciate everybody who participated in the chat. Everybody who came through to listen. Definitely appreciate you, DJ, hanging out.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
No, Rod. I know you keep asking, but bro, we're gonna bring you next week. We got to wrap things up, but just be here. We welcome you in, man. Like, definitely be
just
here.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I mean, and we'd be happy to have you. So can't wait for that. Last quick update, guys. I know some of the Steelers guys who may be listening. It says now that the Steelers have contacted Brandon Flowers.
Oh,
now that's interesting. Now he's 31. Keep that in mind. But that just goes to show you, this is what I'm saying. Steelers fans, this is what we do. Those are the kind of guys that they probably end up signing. And Logan Ryan, let's still keep an eye on him, because what they're saying about Flowers, they're saying that they're not necessarily willing to sign now. They're going to do like a wait and see type situation. So maybe seeing what his market is and then get him, because he was released. So, he's completely a free agent. Now, Logan Ryan, different story, probably costs a little more. But this is what we do. They'll go after a guy like a Dre Kirkpatrick. They contacted him, found out where his market was. Too much. All right, see you later. But then they'll look at – but here's the last thing I wanted to say. I'm running on now. But this kind of gives you guys a little idea of what they're probably going to do in the draft. Obviously, we need more corners. The depth at cornerback is just not quite there. Ross Cockrell is, okay guy. Artie Burns, #1 draft pick last year, showed some promise. He'll probably get better. Then who's after that? William Gay. He's old. Don't really have it no more. Sanquez Golson, is he going to get on the field? This is the second consecutive year that he hasn't made it out of preseason. And that was supposed to be our starting slot, who was nice, but now he got to prove himself again. So I'm pretty sure the Steelers are going to go edge rusher first. Then they're going to be looking for secondary, and they're going to probably get a running back because D'Angelo Williams, I'm hearing also, it's not looking that promising as far as re-signing. So we'll see. But that's all we got for you guys, man. Smitty, DJ, y'all want to give y'all sound offs?
No, that's pretty much it, man. I appreciate everybody, hanging out and commenting and all that good stuff along with us this week. And we'll be back next week with another one. So appreciate all y'all.
Oh,
Absolutely.
and one last update. There's 2 petitions out. If anybody wants to sign it, I'll link it in Twitter. Boycott Redskins games and fire Bruce Allen is a hashtag.
Yeah, they wild over there, man. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, we might even could just have a show about that. Like, man.
I could tell you everything about what has gone on in Redskins Twitter. It's predictable, but it's crazy. And that actually is a question I would have of anybody else's fan base. Do y'all other fan bases go through these things? Because it seems like it only happens to us. Not even Cleveland fans go through this, I don't think.
Well, y'all do win games though, and y'all have been in a playoff.
But that's the problem. We 2 straight winning seasons, and we fired a GM, and we just let stuff happen. I can't. No, I can't.
I think they curse, man. I think it's not because he's so stubborn about changing the
Right, he called him snot. There we go. Yeah. That works.
It might be cursed, man. The Indian spirits are like, okay, all right, you don't want to change the name? No, I'm just playing, but yeah, it sucks because, like I said, I'm a fan of football. So as much as I want my team to win, and obviously, your team ain't gonna win the Super Bowl every year. So I like to just see good competition. I want to see organizations have a shot. Like, it was good to see the Falcons get to the Super Bowl and just hand it off. But Redskins, Browns, teams like that, come on, man. Like, because the Redskins got history. Everybody know they got history. They used to be a dominant team at one time, Team
of the 80s, along with the 49ers.
Right. But all right, guys, that's all we got for y'all, man. That's it. Y'all have a good one. We're signing off. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.